Injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident. They will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket. So when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show, live on your YouTube machine. Happy Wednesday already. The Monty Show, as always, presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Hey, man. Make sure you're at their office in Murray, Utah this Friday. Drop off your used, broken, unrideable hunks of metal, any bicycles, scooters, parts, seats, wheels, brakes, your mom, drop it off. Don't drop your mom off. At the Advocates office in Murray, as the Advocates rack up their drive to put bikes back in the community, giving kids something to do this summer. It's an amazing cause. Hook it up, The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Good Wednesday morning. Hope you are all well. Thank you to the early crew for being here. And I already see there's violence in the comment section. And let me just say, we rarely do this, but this is one of the worst comments I've ever seen.
I don't even need to read the comment. All I got to do is look at the fact that I've never seen this picture before or this name and already know what it is.
How the hell can the NCAA be going bankrupt over NIL? NIL ain't mandatory. Tell us you have no idea what you're talking about without telling us that you have no idea what you're talking about. I love the show because you're all like Alex Jones of college football.
Infowars.com.
What makes people think the big O SEC can handle 30, whatever you were going to say? There's so much just naivete out there about NIL and this settlement that is coming. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, broke the news yesterday that the NCAA and its members, which are your favorite institution, are facing a $20 billion bill in back NIL revenue, call it damages, without a settlement on cases like House versus the NCAA.
Right.
Which it's a fait accompli. We know that if they do not settle this case, the NCAA is going to lose. You can't win when you repressed people's rights to make money. And they have proven that repeatedly. And now you have opened the floodgates to, hey, go ahead and make money off of your name, image, and likeness. This is done. The issue is, why are you not settling already? Because what's on the line for the NCAA, quite literally, is their ability to do business. What you're not understanding is, and I think there is just a lot of people who don't understand how the NCAA works. The NCAA is the governing body of athletics in college. So all of your major college sports are governed by the NCAA. Who is the NCAA? Pick your favorite school. They're in the NCAA. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Jake doesn't like college sports. I believe that's correct.
Well, me. Why aren't you looking at the commenter?
Yeah, exactly. You pick your favorite university: LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, you name it. They're in the NCAA. And essentially what happens here is the NCAA is a revenue-generating operation. They pay hundreds of millions of dollars out in distributions to membership. So most of the money that the NCAA pays out, and I'm gathering most people know this, maybe you don't. Most of the revenue paid out by the NCAA to its membership is NCAA tournament tied. Because remember, in college football, your bowl payouts, your college football playoff payouts, those come from individual entities to those conferences and universities. The NCAA largely exists financially on the fruits of the NCAA tournament in college basketball. You're talking about a situation where the NCAA will be withholding revenue of up to $2 million per year per school. That's how much money we are talking about. There is going to be between a 40 and 60% revenue shortfall to cover these NIL settlements, which the individual universities are going to have to pay out of pocket. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And when you look at this idea that we haven't gotten a settlement yet, and the news that Ross Dellinger broke, and if you're not reading Ross Dellinger, my guess is you're not that much of a college football fan, because I happen to think Ross Dellinger is one of the best journalists in college football. He got his hands on a settlement document, and for the first time, he is telling you that you're looking at $1 to $2 million in reduction from NCAA disbursements, and that if they do not settle, they're looking at a $20 billion bill that is due immediately, in full, no payment plan. Whereas if you settle, you're looking at a couple of $1 billion paid out over a decade. This is a big deal. And if you don't settle this case, and they will, but if you don't settle this case, you have no other avenue but to file bankruptcy and reduce that debt and try to find a way to pay this judgment off at a much smaller value. But it also cripples your ability to make money and do business. I think, and I guess I'm going to assume you will agree with me, Jake, but I don't think there's any other avenue forward here for the NCAA but to settle.
Yeah, I mean they're being held over a barrel here, and it's a position they put themselves in. And I think that the NCAA is in a position here where they need to settle, and it's just going to come down to negotiating the fine print and making sure that everything that is talked about in the settlement is good. Like, there's a portion of this settlement that's being proposed that I don't think many people know about, where they're talking about, hey, this settlement will get reviewed if it comes to pass that NCAA athletes are deemed employees by the courts or of their own accord. And it's things like that where you have a lot of X factors in the settlement that are being negotiated, where it's just simply like, hey, like, there's a lot of things that could change. But really, in the NCAA's position right now, they have to settle. You have to do this if you want to survive, which is why I say the settlement, as you said, is going to happen. You're not going to go from paying a couple bill. I think the Ross article says the valuation is $2.7 billion is the exact number that they're kind of working on together on both sides of the table. You're not going to go from that to 20 immediately, right? The NCAA is just not going to do that. So for anybody saying, hey, this settlement's in jeopardy or not going to happen, or whatever the counter argument is, you're up in the night. They are going to settle. But the only question really is, hey, how do the disbursements work? Who's going to have to pay the most? And when you start looking at the numbers, like, again, a round number of between 20 and 30 million, depending on who you are, that's a lot of money. And I don't care what your name is or what school you are. Like, that's a lot of money for Alabama and Georgia. That's a lot of money for Notre Dame. That's a lot of money for really anybody. So it'll just be really interesting to see how this, as we always say on the show, the unintended consequences. Because if schools have to pay this extra cost, where are they going to recoup that cost? Because they will recoup it. They will do something to backfill, as we always say. And it's just a matter of what that's going to be. And that's where I think and again, this is probably another conversation, but The Super League, that's why the Super League can't die or isn't dead, because that concept allows everybody to make more money and put this issue to bed. And once that happens, I think you will see everybody in the sandbox will be much happier. But until that happens, I don't really know how you move forward in a comfortable way if you're these universities.
Yeah, and I think when you're talking about universities being on the hook for $300 million in total with this settlement, because what happens is it also creates a revenue structure where you're revenue sharing this money, $20 million a year. Do you guys understand how much money that is? Think about that. We're not talking about monopoly money. We are talking about real world dollars where $20 million a year will be given to athletes out of your revenue. That is a staggering number. That is cost cutting to the bone. And this is where Title IX comes in. This is where equality comes in. Because sports are going to get cut. I don't think that you are looking at major universities cutting sports. I think you're looking at G5s. If you're at smaller schools, you're going to lose water polo. You're going to lose lacrosse. You're going to lose track and field. You're going to lose sports. Again, as I always say, I think your stick and ball sports are fine. I think your basketballs, your footballs, I think you're fine. I think it is the club sports. I think it is the non-revenue generating, hey, this sport is a liability on the P&L. That's where you're going to start to see that you're going to cost cut.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is in the settlement, it says, according to Ross, it says that, Title IX enforcement is going to stay at the school level. So the NCAA isn't going to, take that on. They're going to, the same way it works now is how it's going to work. And I think, that's a really interesting, situation to be in, because obviously Title IX is, obviously a touchy subject and a valuable subject, and one that needs to continue to be enforced and it needs to stay at its current level. And I think that the problem here is that when you put universities in a position where they're going to make less money, the first thing that they're going to look at is, hey, like, okay, where can we cut? Where can we save money? Like, hey, like, how are we going to survive? And that's the hard part here.
And you're looking at, this is from Ross's article at yahoosports.com. Like, here's what happens if you don't settle. I mean, this is what happens if this is
$20 billion,
a catastrophe,
bro.
Yeah. The estimated $20 billion in damages would likely be payable immediately after final judgment, not over a decade period. The result in the NCAA and leagues filing bankruptcy. While bankruptcy may temporarily derail the active antitrust cases, it would move litigation to a bankruptcy judge for a decision, requiring restructuring of a new model, and would open schools to new direct claims from plaintiff attorneys. Which again, I continue to ask, how are you going to continue this without further protections? And I think this is the main, from what I've heard and the people that I've spoken to about this, the main question that these administrators have, because remember, we're not talking about athletic directors and football coaches making these decisions. We're talking about chancellors and presidents and legal counsels making these decisions. They want to know how to insulate themselves from further litigation. And right now, there's no way to do that. And I think we can go back. What is this? Our 10th year doing this show or something like that. For the last 10 years, what have I told you on this show? It's the rich white guys trying to keep all of their money in their pocket.
The old white hairs.
And this is where it's come to roost. This is where the idea, and you can point to any athlete that you want over the history of time and in these lawsuits. But I think in football and basketball specifically, this is where the old white guy trying to repress the inner city black kid has come back to haunt. Because At its heart, that's what this is. You're a rich guy and you don't want to give money because you gave them a scholarship. And yet you wanted to argue about whether you owed them for that shoulder injury for the rest of their life until it was fully recovered, or that knee injury. We haven't even talked about the rumors of CTE lawsuits from college athletes who never played in the NFL. We haven't even talked about that. Like, you have to understand at some level, you can continue to hoard your money and keep it close because, my God, but at some point you're gonna let go of that bag. Those purse strings are gonna open.
Yep.
And we're here. And what you're looking at now is all of that oppression that has happened for the last 50, 75 years. You're paying the tab for that right now. And I hope you enjoyed your run. And I hope you bought your yachts. And I hope you bought your new lecture halls.
And I hope you have a stockpile of money that's protected and untouchable.
Because you look at this right now, like, that's a lot of money. The NCAA is responsible for paying the amount over 10 years, roughly $277 million annually. That's in the best case scenario. And as I said earlier, 60% of that will come from a reduction in distribution to schools. And you continue on this show. We talk about it almost every day. And almost every day, the hyenas in the comments section are like, college basketball sucks. This is all about football. No, it's not. If you haven't figured out yet that college basketball is the tipping point in solvency at the NCAA level, I don't know what you're looking at. Why do you think Brett Yormark has been so vehement and so passionate about driving revenue through college basketball? Because the football money is contracted. Football money's there already.
Mm-hmm.
They need new revenue streams.
Yeah, you've tapped the football well. You're
under contract.
Yeah, I mean, it's basketball is where you're going to get, where you're going to get your gains, where you're going to backfill, or where you're going to make more profit. And I think that, these conferences have to find a way to get back to a place where, they're making money and a lot of it. And when I say making money, I don't mean revenue, I mean profits. They have to get back to a place where they've got, their 20 or 30 grand in their bank account on their level, whatever that works out being in the millions, 50, 60 million, whatever that looks like. And until that takes place, I'm telling you, people are going to operate from a very protected position. It's like these conversations we have about, the average Joe American on the show where people are struggling and not doing great. Like, these conferences are very much in a similar position when it comes to this stuff, where they have to say, hey, like, where can we go to get more money? Because it's not going to be football. So basketball is the next natural sport up on the ledger, because that's the next highest revenue generating sport. It's not lacrosse or rowing or water polo or chess club, man. Those aren't, generating revenue. Basketball, though, is. And the Big 12 happens to be one of the best, if not the best conference in a basketball conference in the country. And until people start accepting the idea that the tournament does matter and the tournament is going to get expanded and it's only going to get expanded because people need to make more money for college athletics to move forward. Like, yes. I don't know what you guys are looking at, because that's where we're headed. There is no other outcome. And so for all the people, and this would include Ross, and I love Ross, literally does amazing work, some of the best work in the industry covering this stuff.
Yes.
Dude's out here talking about how the Super League is deadpanned and, it's not a thing. And I'm saying, how could it not be a thing? How, if you're sitting in Greg Sankey's shoes, if you're Tony Petitti, Brett Yormark, right? Hell, if you're Bubba Cunningham at UNC, are you not sitting here saying, like, hey, dude, we need a way to make more money? So how are we going to do that? How can we all get in a room and be like, yep, we're going to go to a new model that makes it easier for everyone to make money? Because that's the reality of the situation. It has to happen.
So let me get this right. You're looking at the NCAA holding back, let's go worst case scenario, $2 million a year per school. to cover some of these expenses. You're looking at the NCAA cutting up to $18 million per year in expenses. We call that oversight, enforcement, while at the same time creating a new enforcement arm to oversee collectives. You're looking at a situation where not only is the NCAA going to have to withhold $2 million per university, but the NCAA proposes sharing $22 million per school in revenue generation. So this is it's not optional to create new revenue streams.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like most people write this off as, it's no big deal. They make a ton of money. Ask San Diego State. Ask any G5. Ask Fresno State. Utah State. Hey, why don't you go ahead and break me off a $22 million check over here? Would they be able to afford athletics? My guess is no.
That's why Brian Kelly and Buddy at Boise State are taking the stance on NIL that they're taking. They're not trying to pay any more NIL than they need to.
And I think that's why you are going to see the G5 is going to break off and do their own thing. I think you have to. So how many universities can Tarleton State? It's a shocking disclosure.
Well, and I think
it's this. If you haven't read Ross Dellinger's article, please, I'm begging you to go and read it.
Think about the resentment of the G5 as well, though. Like, the NIL situation is hardly the G5's fault, right? We can't play it both ways. Oh, the G5 is they need to do better. They got to do better. But at the same time saying, hey, like, you still got to pay you got to pay the penalty for what the power conferences have been doing all these years. You got to pay a price for what the heavy hitters in college football and college athletics decided not to do in this case, which was pay kids. And that's where I say, hey, if you're the G5, I agree. A, you resent the hell out of the power conferences on some level because you're paying for their greed with this situation. But B, you have to get in a more controlled situation. It's the same thing that Brett Yormark's trying to do with basketball. Hey, we're trying to control more. We're trying to get to a place where we can say, okay, cool. The G5s are going to get their own college football playoff. They're going to get their own bowl system, all that. And hey, if you win the G5 natty, you can move up next year and play P4s if you want, or whatever it winds up being. But the point is that we cannot continue to have little guy over here sitting at the same table with big dude who's got 20, 30, 40 times more worth of money to work with. It just simply doesn't work for anybody.
No, like, and I look at the idea of the Super League. And I know that people continue to pan this, but I'm telling you, call it what you want. Super League, God tier, I don't care. It's coming because we need the ability to drive revenue higher in football and more through college basketball. And if we have the college football championship game on the Saturday of Super Bowl Sunday, and we get the college football championship and the NFL championship in the same weekend, that just makes so much sense. If we get, and I think one of the things that you're going to have to come around to is college football players are going to play more games. Whether you want them to or not, they're going to play more games. The first 3 weeks of the season, I think, are going to be contracted, a shark hunting, huge games, big matchups. Wow. Did that just happen? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Everything in our studio just blinked. Let's hope that we continue.
Okay, thank you.
Move on with life. You're going to see huge matchups in the first 3 weeks of the season. I truly, truly hope that we move to a place where we don't get Iowa and Michigan in the Big Ten championship game. I hope we never see shit like that again, because that was
it's
brutal.
embarrassing. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Right?
It doesn't serve the sport. And it's like this whole Fox situation with, week 0 matchups being heavy hitters that are playing at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Like, people are all pissed off about, the week 0 stuff. And like, why are these primetime games being played at 10 a.m. in the morning? It's like, I don't know, maybe because that's the TV agreement, maybe because that's how they can get paid.
I hate it.
Like, do you think that they have a choice? Like, come on.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you're going to have to put up with a lot of things that you don't like. I agree. The noon kickoff Eastern thing sucks. I hate it. But it's what Michigan and Ohio State wanted. And so they got it. I think when we're talking about the biggest matchups in college football, December and January now become incredibly important months. You notice that they changed the dark periods and recruiting and signing periods, and December now becomes a very pivotal month on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're going to see that once all of this settles, and I think you create a super league, and I think the G5 goes off and does their thing with the championship of G5 conferences. And I could see a place where the G5 champion, is decided the first week of December. And then that team who wins the championship goes on maybe to make the college football playoffs. I don't know. But largely, I think the G5 can't afford to play on this level. You cannot. And we can sit here and say, do you want a God tier? But that's not the question anymore. You need a God tier. You have to have it. Private money has to come into college sports.
Yes.
It's not optional anymore. You have to have the Toyota Club. You have to have better concessions, better entertainment, better food options, better parking options, better seating options. You better have NFL-style stadiums with really good amenities. You better have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how else you do that without spending a crap ton of money. And that money is now less available to you unless you bring in private money, unless you bring in more sponsorship dollars, unless you play football games in Mexico, unless you play football games in Australia.
Why do you think the NFL is going overseas so much, bro?
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that you're seeing all this new inventive stuff in sports? Because you can't just sell the same thing every single year and think that you can just bump the price up $10 million. Like, that's not how this works. You have to create a new opportunity every single time. And it's this whole thing. Like, I think it flew under the radar a little bit, but like Bob Iger at ESPN for the first time in however long talked to like all the shareholders and all these investors in ESPN. Yeah. And you're starting to see folks like ESPN, the Big 12, like the NFL, are really starting to get creative about how they get people to buy into their product. And I'm just telling you, that's why the Super League idea or concept is not dead and is never going to be dead.
Well, I also think this is where a lot of people get pissed off when we say nice things about Deion Sanders. The reality series he has on Amazon Prime, the social media stuff, this stuff's not optional anymore. And guys like right here in Jutta, Kyle Whittingham, get on board with it, man. You've got to do it. And I think largely Witt is getting on board with it.
Hey, Mullet, you might want to get on board.
You can't do what Dabo Sweeney does at Clemson and win at the highest level. And anymore, why do you think Alabama's first call was to Dan Lanning? Because he's a young gun that recruits, that embraces it, that gets it, that wants it, craves it. That new cutting edge college football attitude that you have to have.
Mm-hmm.
It's why Nick Saban's at ESPN and Dan Lanning is still at Oregon, right? Because the game has changed a little bit. So I think that it is really going to be interesting to see how the arms race shapes itself. How do you look at who's the best team in the SEC? Georgia or Alabama, probably.
Gotta say Georgia right now, just with coaching changes and stuff.
So how do you take Georgia's football experience and drive more money through it? Well, that $1,000 per seat ticket license, or ticket cost on top of a personal seat license, where you get a padded seat, and that's the game experience has to get better, right? So you're going to see more renovations of stadiums where footprints don't change, but amenities are included. You look at social media. You've got to have better Instagram and Twitter and Snapface, and got to have it. YouTube has to be a thing at the college football level. Has to. At the D1 level, the God tier level, you better have the Phillips 66 Okie Light mullet lice check on YouTube presented by your mom. You better have it. That's what all this is. So we can sit here and we can go around, but this stuff's not optional anymore. Kids want to be seen. Kids want to be paid. So you're going to have to pay them.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a decade of very interesting growth and change in college athletics.
Yep.
You think they're going to expand the NCAA tournament? Monty, you don't know what you're talking about. We're not doing that.
What are you doing? What are you talking about? You guys are at the Alex Jones of sports YouTube.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, dude.
Whether you want to or not. Whether you want to or not, they're going to do this. It is as like this thing in the ACC that we talked about yesterday. And it now, why do you think North Carolina's rattling cages now? Because they got to look at it. The ACC, Ross Dellinger, talking about how this document was shown and presented to the ACC. And you think it's a coincidence that North Carolina's cage rattling and talking about getting out?
They got their green light.
Because they saw what the tax man wants. Speaking of, I paid the IRS $900 yesterday. Not fun. Anyway, the point is,
yeah,
North Carolina saw the bill that's coming, and maybe Florida State knew this already. I don't know. I know this. Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti knew this was coming, which is why they did what they did. But hey, how's the NIL going bankrupt over, or how's the NCAA going bankrupt over NIL? Yeah, they're not.
It's so confusing.
They're not, Charles. You do you.
Yeah, I don't know how we could ever come to the conclusion that NIL is absolutely piping the NCAA.
Pete Forte, first one in. Good morning to you. OG Gary, hello. Good to see you. Daniel Dixon, John Dry, Dakota Tubbs, good to see you, my friend. Morning, fellow Jagoffs.
Well, you're getting back on brand.
I like it. Mountain Mama, take me home to
Dude, you gonna read this comment right here?
Where I belong, West Virginia. Mountain Mama. Nothing?
Apologize, didn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't sing it all. It's hump day. Make that like button your bitch. Hit the like button. Please. I appreciate that. Make the like button your bitch. Okay, good morning.
Hey, good talk.
Caps Lock Chad. The Caps Lock Chad. Hello. Good morning, good people. Hello. NCAA bankrupt. Just because you file bankruptcy doesn't mean you're bankrupt. It's a negotiating tool.
Yeah.
It is a tool. This screams Super League is no,
dude.
No.
Your comments are offensive. The Super League would never actually happen.
It's never happening.
Even if there's a fire.
Jeremiah Champion. I don't know why. LOL. Oh, Charles, you must not know about this comment section yet. The more you fuck around, the more you find out. Right? Damian Fowler. The NCAA better get the government to make more money, right? Seriously. Morning, gents. Hello. You have a wonderful day, too. Sir Bob Lob, good to see you. Charlie Brown fell for Lucy's football trick again. Indeed. No doubt about it. No doubt. Jim Romadunze, good to see you, my friend. Good morning, and go dogs.
Go dogs.
No barking. Damian Fowler, good morning. Happy hyenas on hump day. It is only Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's been a tough week already, man. James, the stadium guy who loves barbecue. This will get settled, of course. Just like ACC, FSU will reach a deal and the Seminoles will be in the SEC soon. There is real debate. I had an interesting text exchange with a buddy of mine yesterday who happens to work in, very vaguely, I will say, public relations.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me, hey, everybody at Florida State is eyeing the Big Ten, not the SEC. That everybody at Florida State has their sights set on the Big Ten. I think it's very interesting.
Telling you.
Because you're not often right. I mean, because we all know that
I want to thank me.
Yeah.
I want to thank me for believing in me.
Even as a slow adult, you believe in you, which is great.
Yeah.
I think that's very interesting. That's a really interesting play because I think
the only reason I liked it initially is because the Big Ten doesn't have presence in Florida. And I think Florida is one of those states which
the comment section did not like you yet for that yesterday.
Well, hey,
we're a brand. We dominate the Northeast.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. That's really neat. Nice job.
I always love the comment. Where do you think offensive linemen from Pennsylvania go? Because that's usually a Notre Dame fan or an Ohio State fan saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true.
I don't disagree. The big boys that play offensive and defensive line for the Big Ten, yeah, they come out of the Midwest. That's not rocket science. But what's also not rocket science is that if you're going to be one of the best leagues in college football, you need to have a presence in Florida, like you do at the conference level. And I also think, in addition to that, the rub between Florida and Florida State is not just going to disappear.
It's real, yeah.
And for that reason alone, I'm not so sure that Greg Sankey would want to go out of his way to try to get his member institutions in the conference to accept Florida State into the SEC, which is why I say, why not just skip all of that and try to get into the Big Ten?
Yeah.
Like, it makes too much sense.
Yep. Did you guys pay your electric bill? Nah.
Dude, that was a real blink, man. That was like...
The Monty Ghost has returned. Yeah, we haven't had the Monty Ghost in this studio in a long time.
What did you say before the show?
I don't know.
About the light?
Yeah, interesting. So we have a bank of lights, a banquette of... We have really nice, expensive studio lights.
Right. So we don't have to do the show in the dark.
Right. And they are, when you have a little, they're so nice to have a little remote control for the lights, right? Like, hey, there's no lights.
Oh, hey, Monty.
Hey, there's lights, right? But my point is, they are very calculatedly set up.
Right.
That's not a word.
Calculatedly.
But we set our lights up in such as in like a way to facilitate light being shown on the program in such as in like.
You want to explain that?
No. And this light over here is turned today. I don't know why. And then we get power blinks and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know. The Monty Ghost has returned.
Yeah, Monty.
No cats though. Remember the pregnant cat in the studio?
Dude, the noises those cats would make in the building was wild. Like,
you ain't never heard nothing till you heard a cat having sex and then reproducing. Popping out a kitty is apparently painful. Stretching that kitty out. Damian Fowler, we did pay our electric bill. More SEC games for Samford and the Citadel. I don't think so. I do not think so. I think when we talk about these contracted big games, I think, and I've heard that ESPN is already working this angle because I think the TV partners also are going to be asked to foot more money. And I think ESPN and ABC already have done that with the college football playoff. But I think ESPN has for a long time put into their contracts that, hey, we get, like, again, the best game that I can remember, USC and Ohio State at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Was one of the best games I've ever attended personally. Like those big games, September, early season matchups. Well, I think those big game early season matchups are going to be August and the first 2 weeks of September. And I think you're not going to get like Sanford in Alabama. You're going to get Alabama and Oregon. You're going to get.
Well, I mean, look at last year with Alabama and Texas, and what was it, week 4? I think
Yeah.
it was. Like like when you were looking at Alabama trying to get into the playoff, we were always talking about that game. Hey, they lost at home. But Jalen Milroe came back. Like we talked.
If you're
going
to
that. Like,
lose to Texas
right?
in week 4.
So that's why these games matter. And
Yes.
I think that the day and age of like, hey, we're top tier SEC team playing a little scrimmage against some rando team from small town New York City.
Rando.
Like come on, dude. We're not doing that anymore.
You're not going to be able to have Garbo teams on your schedule.
Yeah, dude. Like, come on, dude. I don't need Alaska State playing Alabama in week 0.
I think Garbo is one of the best words ever invented.
Yeah.
I do love it. And donuts. Hello. Great. Ohio State and Georgia in perpetuity. You're not wrong about that. Ohio State is going to be, but again, Ohio State, maybe they haven't been caught yet, but Ohio State, I believe now is the crown jewel of the Big Ten. There's just no doubt about that. You look at their offensive projections. When's the last time you're like, oh yeah, Ohio State's going to put up 35 every single Saturday? It's been a while, maybe ever. This could be
Kyle McCord didn't do it for you.
Shut up. They're projecting. You're such a jerk. They're projecting that Ohio State could have one of the best offenses in the country, in the entire like U.S. of A.
I mean, look, I think coming off this past season, Ryan Day knew that he needed to, he needed to find that next gear for the offense. And in all seriousness, I do think that's why they shipped Kyle McCord out and went and got Will Howard, because you needed a quarterback that could really go out there and instill confidence on the field and like, hey, we're good enough to, like the defense is getting beat today. That doesn't matter because we're still good enough to go out and throw up 35, 40 points a week. And I think that's kind of going to be the difference this year. Like, think about how good a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. would have been with Will Howard back there instead of Kyle McCord.
Oh my God.
Having a quarterback that understands the coverages, has the confidence to make those tight window throws. Like that was Ohio State's biggest struggle. And I do think it's why they were unable to compete with Michigan when it mattered.
Well, I also think, and I'm certainly not an Ohio State fan, I also think Lloyd Carr incarnate,
right,
Ryan Day, I think that he's doing if you think about Dabo Swinney, would Dabo Swinney ever do what Ryan Day did? We built this program on NIL in the name of Jesus.
We built this program on NIL.
Jesus.
God's name, image, and likeness.
Jesus.
And that's how I look at it.
God Almighty.
We really did.
Would Will Howard have ever been recruited to Clemson? Would he ever have turned over his staff and rebuilt and I know a lot of Ohio State fans watch this show and you guys hate Ryan Day, who I like to call Lloyd Carr. Listen, man, I get it. But do you not give him a lot of credit for making the changes that he's made?
Yeah.
How do you not get excited about the recruiting and the portal activity that good old Lloyd Carr put out this year at Ohio State?
Well, and look, I think you like, I remember specifically after they lost that Michigan game, the post game press conference where Ryan Day was visibly, upset's putting it lightly. Obviously he knows how to talk to the media and be controlled and everything, but you don't typically see Ryan Day looking that upset. And I think that's why the changes were made, because I think that, look, I personally believe that Ryan Day is capable of coaching at the absolute highest level. He can beat really good teams. He just hasn't done a good enough job recruiting talent at the most important positions yet to be able to get over the hump. And I think that he's starting to understand, hey, yeah, maybe instead of trying to have the absolute most baller defense I can have, let's go out and find that quarterback. Let's find that wide receiver
so that
room.
we don't do Michigan and Iowa in the fucking Big Ten championship game again.
And it's okay, cool. Michigan, like as a good example of this, if Ohio State was able to go into that second Michigan game and say, hey, yep, we know this is going to be a physical ass game. Corum's going to have a big night, offensive line. Okay, cool. But we have a really dependable, reliable week in and week out offense. That's going to be a different game. I'm not saying they'd beat Michigan, but what I am saying is that it would have come right down to it the way Michigan and Alabama did.
8 plays, 3 minutes, touchdown.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
That's what you need to win at the highest level in college football.
You need to run a minimum of 2 plays every 60 seconds, and that might not be enough. You need there's a lot of thought about the arms race offensively, right? So we'll see. We'll see. You're Ryan Day's tired of losing to Michigan.
Yeah.
And you better not lose now. Because there's no excuse. James, wait, did Monty say they need better concessions and better seating and better parking? I kind of wondered if you'd get on board. Like,
I love you like the fat kid loves cake.
Look, this is where Godzilla went to die. Let's understand that.
This is the home of King Kong. This is where he died.
Yeah. What I'm telling you, Tracy Morgan's an American patriot.
Don't talk crap about my team.
Yeah. My point is, look at BYU.
Yeah.
If you're going to a BYU game, are you going to Bam Bam's barbecue, or you can't wait to get inside to? Well, my life is about getting inside, but that's another point.
The cock.
Bro.
Honor code violation. Self-reporting.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to a BYU football game, are you going to eat inside the stadium at the concession stand? Probably not. Are you going to go to Bam Bam's? You probably are.
Show up.
And I'll slap you if you go to J-Dogs over Bam Bam's. I will. But
well, Monty, free J-Dogs at every event at Delta Center, okay?
I'm sure it is. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
At a lot of stadiums. And I look at places like the Crown Jewels, the Horseshoe, Notre Dame Stadium, the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The food outside's better than the food inside. The seating, like, do you understand for how long at the Coliseum I had to, and I still to this day going to the LA Coliseum, I have to duck down to walk through the tunnels at the LA Coliseum. I need leather seating. I need the Champions Club or whatever, the Trojan Club, or brought to you by Magnum XL condoms. Like I need it, right? Sir Bob Lob, where's the Dabo drop? You played it.
Yeah, I played all of them, bro.
You played the Dabo drop.
Yeah, I did.
You did. Boyd Lake, what's up, Boyd? Guys. When are you doing NBA on the Fitty? Bring back the swaying music. Football at 50.
The swaying music.
Exactly. NBA coming up here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Stick around for that. Miami will be a national brand when they build a stadium on campus. Tell that to South Florida.
UConn?
Tell that to South Florida. In all seriousness. I mean, come on. OG Gary, Dakota, I agree. Okay, wait, hang on. Dakota Tubbs. I really don't think FSU wants to deal with being in the SEC. I'm a passionate believer that's their best fit. But again, the Florida component, the Florida Gators want nothing to do with FSU in the SEC. And again, some pretty well-placed people who deal with this kind of stuff daily in college athletics. A PR machine yesterday told me that Florida State wants the Big Ten. And I think that's tough to argue with.
But do you think that Florida State's still dealing with a bit of an image issue with how they've handled everything? Because you can't tell me that people have just forgotten all the negative stuff.
I think the state of Florida lawsuiting and demanding documents, fuck off. Like,
yeah.
Can we just, your quarterback broke his twig. You were not the same team. Go away. To simply go away.
Yeah.
To simple
completely agree.
Simple as that. But they may have to settle because the big invite might not be coming. I think that's absolutely right, Dakota. That's exactly right.
I mean, if you're Florida State and let's in your example, let's say the Big Ten doesn't want Florida State for whatever reason, however that works out, and they can't get into the SEC because of Florida, let's say, as an example, where does that leave you?
Not like in no man's land.
Like, what are you looking at the Big 12 at that point?
Come on. I think the SEC would gladly take Florida State, or how should I say this? I think most members of the SEC would welcome Florida State because they play big games. I mean, you don't have to like, and I don't understand the dislike of Florida State. The lawsuit thing, the national championship thing, okay, that wore some people out. But Florida State's a quality educational institution that competes at the highest level in football and basketball, and they have a pretty good baseball program too.
Right.
That's a good athletic department. That's a good brand. You would want that in the SEC. I'm curious where they end up. Because now that, again, remember, now that Carolina's on the tipping point, and I think they're not so quietly telling you they want out. I think you're going to see a big change in the ACC, and we'll see how. Dakota, I agree. I think FSU, it makes sense to push for the Big Ten and be 9-3 at worst versus being 7-5 and playing Georgia, Bama, LSU. LSU sucks. Tennessee, Texas, and others.
Yeah, but hold on.
OG Gary's an LSU fan.
Oh, hold on. I thought Florida State was a national championship contender.
Stop it.
I thought that they were this great team that could contend and be the best.
Why?
Don't fuck.
Yeah, Florida State fans are. I agree.
Why?
Completely.
Stop it. You'll get buried in the SEC versus being competitive in the Big. I think Florida State's not getting buried anywhere.
I think that saying they would cakewalk through the Big Ten is massively disrespectful to the teams that were just added.
Dakota Tubbs, Ohio State needs to get a QB that could beat SEC teams like Missouri. Oh, wait. Yeah, you guys didn't beat. Anyway, I can see FSU and Texas A&M to the Big Ten.
See, you were doing so well.
If I...
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
What is your heart on with Texas A&M leaving the SEC? Can I seriously?
Stay hard.
I don't understand this.
James, you've done it, bro. You've done it, bro.
Trev Alberts just left the Big Ten. Do you think he's going back? You hired Trev Alberts to get into the Big... Stop. Like, James, you get on these odd things. Bucky's barbecue sandwiches, dude. Hey, why are you getting a colonoscopy when you can go clean that shitter out with a Bucky's barbecue sandwich?
That's right.
You get on these things where you're like, dude, now listen. I know Teddy Wayman's the Cougar King of America. Well, let me talk about Cougar Tail for a second. I'm married to a Baylor fan. I know Cougar Tail.
Bro.
Probably too much. The eye patch.
Oh, this should be good.
Did y'all see CBS's 24 playoff prediction number for Utah? Don't say that out loud, the eye patch, because all the Okie Light fans are going to be like, God damn it, Monty.
Mm-hmm.
James, if I agree to meet you at a Buc-ee's in the flyover conference territory, if I agree to meet you at a Buc-ee's, will you buy me a barbecue sandwich?
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
I will not. I only go to the truck stop conference.
Meeting James to have a barbecue sandwich at Buc-ee's or having a taquito off the roller.
Do you know? I think I need to get a DNA test. How did you think it would be okay to eat?
Dude, come on.
He went to a gas station and ate taquitos off a roller.
That's funny.
And thinks it's funny.
Dude, that's funny.
It is funny. That was funny.
Come on.
Where are we going? If the Big kept divisions, I don't know. No division. I am against divisions. I hate divisions in college football.
Yeah. I don't know why we're doing it. It should just be one conference with however many teams you have competing.
Top two teams competing for oh, wait. You know how we could fix that? With a fucking Super League. Anyway.
Don't F it up.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
There's a chef, I can't remember his name. There's a chef on TikTok, on the talk, that his whole thing is, don't fuck it up. We're making lasagna. Don't fuck it. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't think you would see Michigan versus Iowa going forward. Please, Lord, let that never happen again. Probably some form for the West Coast schools in either Michigan or I would agree with that. I hate divisions. Ohio State would have played Michigan again without divisions, right? They would have. And I was here for it. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Smith, Tracy Morgan cracks me up. Someone going to get pregnant up in here.
Yeah, dude. He's a G, bro.
He was on,
This is the home of King Kong. This is where he died.
He was on TNT the pregame last night, and it was amazing. BYU has cougar tails and wood-fired pizza. Neat. Go to Bam Bam's barbecue. That's food. That's food. Eric in Raleigh. Hello. You're going to soak inside the BYU stadium? I'm trying. Anything interesting happening in Raleigh-Durham this week? Wow.
2 holes.
Yeah. No, the Utah Utes
softball team is
in the regional,
jetting to Durham as we speak. Sir Bob Loblaw says history shows again and again how nature points out the folly of men. Godzilla. Exactly. Exactly. I love Tracy Morgan. Better concessions, more NFL-style stadiums, better amenities. Someone better tell Utah to update Rice-Eccles Stadium. Closing in the end zone was amazing, and the recent renovations at Rice-Eccles, amazing. It's not the playing surface, the bowl itself, amazing. The corridors,
it's a bit of a
the amenities
facility.
It is. It very much is.
Yes.
It very much is.
Yes.
Oak State allows restaurants to sell food at Boone Pickens Stadium. Okay. Nice Deep Purple, Bob Lob loves. Love that song. Yeah, it was very well done. Very well done. Blue Oyster Cult. Tracy Morgan is not funny. A buffoon is more like it. I think Tracy Morgan's hysterical.
On, bro. Dude is funny.
And punch me in the dick?
Yeah, like, come on, bro.
That's
seriously?
funny.
Don't talk crap about my team.
Mike Smith, good God, yes, you are right. Man alive, I need to go back to bed. Yes, you do. It was Blue Oyster Cult. But then again, you're a John Denver fan, so, it's fine. Let's see, a couple more, then we got to get to NBA. Big Blue Horses, who makes money? NFL. Where does every game matter? MFL? I don't know what the MFL is. He means NFL. It's a typo. It's early. What does a super league look like? NFL. There's a model now because $20 million per school per year is not sustainable. It's not. Thank you.
Wow.
I know.
Did that just happen?
I understand that I am the one that is sounding the alarm bells on this $20 million thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to be the flag bearer of panic.
Yeah, we've done it before.
$20 million per year in revenue sharing is crippling to most athletic departments. And I'm not, I as I've mentioned, the G5, you can't even compete.
Right.
But look at Arizona. Look at Washington State.
Right.
Look at Cal, who needs a subsidy from UCLA. Wait, did you say that you got to give Cal $10 million and you've got to pay $22 million in revenue sharing? So you're out $30 million, and we haven't even talked about scholarships or. Do you see how crippling that is? If you're UCLA, who's had trouble filling the Rose Bowl for regular season games. So how are you going to pay this $22 million? You better sell more tickets. You better sell more Cougar Tails.
And it sucks.
You better sell more Chardonnay or Zinfandel. Everybody's like, bro, you can't sell beer at college football stadiums. Fuck I can't. Watch me.
Bro.
Watch me.
Watch me.
Watch me. You think I can't put Toyota signs up? Watch me. You think I can't put whatever up? Watch me. You think I can't have a DK Sportsbook sign or an ESPN bet sign? Watch me. Because where do you think this money's coming from? That's where it's coming from. That revenue sharing, you had better sell an F load more tickets and you better get a better price for them. Like this, it is ugly, dude. Jimmy Otson, Florida State, ESPN screwed us out of the playoffs. Let's go play for ESPN exclusively. Exactly.
Yeah, right? Like, come on.
But this is what Jimmy, we'll see what your point turns out to be. But my point is that ESPN is in the driver's seat here in the ACC. They are absolutely in the driver's seat. Florida State ends up where largely I think ESPN's got one of the loudest voices in that decision. And really, I think ESPN's got one of the loudest voices. It's again, nobody believed me when I said, hey, look at the way that ESPN is working with the Big 12, getting a new TV deal done, bringing them to market, choosing not to be in business with the Pac-12. How consequential was that decision? Pretty consequential.
Yeah.
Big 12 got their TV deal first. Pac-12's not here. Now, we're terrible managers and terrible business people, but that played a huge role in it. ESPN has significant sway. Significant sway. Dakota Tubbs says beaver emoji. Yeah, Mike Smith, you're playing with fire, dude.
Yeah, bro.
UNC broke from paying for herpes medications. Okay.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Okay. Nobody triggers Monty like James. That's what I'm saying.
Was an incredible trigger.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, what are we doing here?
I don't know.
Who the hell is that?
I have no idea. I don't know. But it is, fine.
Okay.
Bots in the chat.
We haven't had bots in the chat in a long time.
You know what I'm saying? San Diego State. When Monty says Buc-ee's, all I hear is Charlie Brown's teacher. Buc-ee's brisket sandwich is fire. Somebody mail me one. Because Oak State James won't agree to meet me in Irving at a Buc-ee's. Is there a Buc-ee's in Irving?
No idea.
I have no idea where it is. And donuts. Can't wait for the new inflationary prices. Yes, seriously. Damn. Paber saying it with your whole chest, huh? I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Who's Paber?
I have no idea who that is. John Hamm, hello. How can you tell there are bots? Well, you can't because we knocked them out. Bots be damned. Bots be damned. And I can't see I'm not going to go look at filters now. Mike Smith, these are not the bots you are looking for. No, they are not. That is a Star Trek reference.
Okay.
These are not the droids. Star Trek.
I am your father.
Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek, right?
I'm waiting for somebody to correct me. It's fine. The Monty Show, hour number 2. The comment section, as always, presented by our friends at prizepicks.com. Listen. Anthony Edwards.
Michael Jordan's son.
You may be the seed of Jordan, but you're dead to me, sir. Anthony Edwards last night. Anthony Edwards last night.
Yeah.
Ant goes, is berserk the word you would use? No, it's certainly not when he only had 22 points and rebounds.
Bro.
Because it's garbage.
Now, Aaron Judge and Caitlin Clark, I needed 6 total bases or 3-pointers made. I'd like to thank Caitlin Clark for absolutely sucking last night. I needed 6 total bases and 3-pointers from Caitlin Clark and Aaron Judge. I got 5. Diana Taurasi and Karl Anthony Towns, I needed 34 points. I got 46. That's called putting out. Anthony Edwards, I needed 35.5 points and rebounds. I got 22.
Damn.
We call that gaping.
Gaping.
It's not good. That's why I love Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com. Use the promo code Monty. How'd you do on Prize Picks yesterday?
I chose not to get involved. Well, actually, technically, that's not true. I had a prize pick from last week because Prize Picks rolled out a Caitlin Clark special for her debut on half a point, and I took that. So I made my $20 back, but it wasn't like, oh, I just smashed it on Prize Picks. But I'm looking forward to it.
You never smash.
Well, that's a different conversation. But I'm looking forward to the PGA Championship coming up starting tomorrow. We'll have to look at that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. It's fine.
I get to take all the hacks from Live Golf on Prize Picks. You know.
NBA on the hour, every hour on the Monty program. Star Wars. Are you sure? Battlestar Galactica. Are you sure? Talk to me, Goose. That's an A-Team reference, Jake.
Yeah.
You don't even know what the A-Team is.
That's actually not an A-Team reference.
Eric and Durham. I thought it was a Quantum Leap reference. Have you ever seen Quantum Leap?
No.
He said no.
No.
How have you never seen Quantum Leap?
Because I haven't. The list is so long of movies I haven't seen that I get lost in it.
Big Daddy Vladdy Tubbs. Was this a Wall-E reference? Oh, Wall-E was a good movie. Wasn't Wall-E a good movie? No?
Sure.
I thought Wall-E was a good movie. All right. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. Get 100% deposit matching at prizepicks.com. Let's talk some NBA playoffs. How good have the NBA playoffs been?
I think they've been really good this year. I think that, I think this Knicks Pacers series has been everything that the NBA could have wanted it to be. You can clearly see it's going to go 7 games. They're going to go back to Indiana. Indiana will win game 6. They'll bounce back. They'll solve world hunger. And then they'll come back to the Garden to get Tracy Morgan and go home. And that to me is what's been the best part of the playoffs. This Timberwolves situation, I don't quite know what to make of it, because early in the series, it wasn't like the Timberwolves were getting like perfect shooting nights or like, oddities on the stat sheet. They were just playing really good defense, doing what they do, and that brought them a lot of success. But now they've regressed to losing 3 games in a row in the series and are now down 3-2. And I don't know. I don't understand what's happened with that team, because, everyone wants to say, oh, well, Rudy's the defensive player of the year and still can't stop Jokic. And I'm here to say, I don't give a damn what's on his trophy shelf. He has no business guarding Nikola Jokic. He's not athletic enough. And it's causing the Timberwolves defense absolute fits. There's a reason they were better with Rudy off the floor. So how good have the playoffs been? I think they've absolutely lived up to it. I think that there are major storylines after major storylines, like Halliburton, not last night, but the game before, having an amazing performance, only to fall flat on his face last night. Like DiVincenzo talking all that junk last night in the post game about how, the Pacers are trying to be tough guys and that's not their identity. Like the NBA's living up to it. The NBA this year has been really, really good. I haven't even gotten to all the Alex Jones conspiracy theories about why LeBron was at the Cleveland game, right? Like everyone's saying, oh, well, Donnie the Lakers confirmed Bron's there scouting. And it's like, dude, Bron knows Donnie's game. There's no doubt about it. So I literally think he was there to support the Cavs. That's it. Because their season's over, obviously. The Lakers season is over. So, yeah, I mean, I think the Lakers or the NBA has lived up to it, but I am truly, truly baffled by the Minnesota Timberwolves and the turnaround that's happened in this series. Like, I could understand, hey, Denver's going to come out and win a game or 2. Okay, cool. But to lose 3 in a row to the same team, to not be able to make those adjustments offensively to make sure that, you have everybody scoring that you need to, it's shocking to me. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for the Timberwolves to get back to who they were in game 1 and 2. And a lot of people want to say, oh, well, that was Denver not playing good. And I'm sitting here saying, hey, well, Denver didn't play good because the T-Wolves dominated them. Absolutely dominated them. Manhandled them. And yet here we are, and I get more Jokic and more Jamal Murray, more Michael Porter Jr. going to the next round, most likely at this point. And it's just disappointing, man.
But is it wrong? I guess I think, is it wrong that the Minnesota Timberwolves are disappointing? It's not wrong. Are they better with Rudy Gobert off the floor? Did he play bad defense against Nikola Jokic? I wouldn't say he did, but he's a very limited defender above the free throw line. And I think Nikola Jokic showed us that. Again, it's why his contract's a liability. I continue to say, and I know all the Jazz fans that are like, oh, Monty, you're going to be pissed when Rudy wins a championship. Well, when it happens, maybe I will. I probably won't, much to your disappointment. But I don't think that's going to be this year because Jamal Murray looks like himself again, and the Denver Nuggets figured out how to defend. And I think that's why the Denver Nuggets are in control of that series, frankly. Because now you've won 3 in a row. 2 of those were in Minnesota.
Yeah.
How if you are the Timberwolves, how do you recover from this?
I'm not sure. Because I don't think there's any stopping Jokic. And what did we say early in the series? What did we say he had to do? He had to get more selfish. He had to have 35 and 10 at least. And what has he been doing? 35 and 14, 35 and 12. Like the guy has been lighting it up in every way possible and playing defense. And yeah, I get it. Maybe he is the best player in the league, but I don't know, man. I look at this Timberwolves team, and maybe this is where the Celtics, syndrome comes into play for this team, where this is really their first deeper run into the postseason, and they're trying to figure out how to win on the highest level, and they just haven't done that yet.
I don't know. I look at that. I look at the Knicks, and I have to ask now: are the Knicks better than the Celtics? Because what Jalen Brunson did last night, and Dante DiVincenzo absolutely sticking it in Miles Turner's eye, I thought was spectacular. And you felt like that moment was backbreaking for the Pacers because you have a team that's missing Bojan Bogdanovic. You're missing Mitchell Robinson. You've got Jalen Brunson hurt. You're missing OG Anunoby. How do the Pacers not take control of this? Because the Knicks are still a better team, especially at home. Can the Knicks go to Indiana and win, or are we going to get 7 games in this series? A 7th game at the Garden would be spectacular.
Right.
But I are you telling me that the Pacers just can't win on the road? That doesn't feel right.
Yeah, but I think that, going on the road is different than just going on the road to somewhere and going on the road at the Garden is 2 different things. And I think that home court advantage is real. I think that the Knicks, when they're good, dude, Madison Square Garden is lit. And I think that the last 10 years hasn't done that building justice for the Knicks. I think that, again, if you're under 20, you probably don't appreciate the mellow years or, even before that when Madison Square Garden was just popping. And that's the beautiful thing. When you ask me, hey, have the playoffs been successful so far? Has it been a good NBA playoff cycle? Yeah, I think it has, because you've still got, Madison Square Garden. You still got, the Celtics. You still got, a lot of big time nameplates in the postseason.
Yeah, we'll see. Sir Bob Lob says Friday, Nuggets and 6, said this guy. Okay.
And that may well happen, and if that happens, got to ask the same questions about Ant that we're asking about other guys in the league. What's it going to take? Because this is the same thing that Book went through. It's obviously the same thing that Tatum's dealing with. I just happen to believe that Anthony Edwards is better than both of those guys. And now the question's going to be, well, how do they play better? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know either. Nowhere near as good as the Stanley Cup. How about Leon Draisaitl last night? I am quietly rooting for the Edmonton Oilers to win. I am rooting for the Edmonton Oilers to win. Feels like the same old Denver versus Celtics seems inevitable. I totally disagree. I think you're looking at a situation now where I think the Knicks have a legitimate chance to beat the Celtics, because the Celtics aren't tough. They don't grind you.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't. When's the last time you had to grind as the Boston Celtics? I don't know that I agree with that. I think it's very interesting. The Timberwolves fading. I also think this Dallas series,
by far the most fly under the radar series of the playoffs.
Dallas had better run their offense through Kyrie Irving, because Luka's not up for the challenge. And I understand that people, and we've had this debate on this show for how long?
Right.
Luka Doncic is not a championship player. Rudy Gobert is not a championship player.
Mm-hmm.
I've said those two things repeatedly, and it's playing out right in front of your eyes. And you look at the bigs in this league, Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, Miles Turner, those aren't championship players. Look at the performance you got from Isaiah Hartenstein last night. I mean, you look at the way he played, that's a championship big man who's willing to do the little things without being the center of attention. You look at him, 31 minutes last night, 17 rebounds and 5 dimes.
Yeah.
And he gave you 7 points.
That is outworking people.
And you look at Miles Turner, 30 minutes, 5 rebounds, 2 dimes, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 16 points. I'd rather have Hartenstein's line. I'd rather have, Nesmith not being a minus 15 last night.
Good Lord.
Getting turned into just a corkscrew by Jalen Brunson last night. You look at Tyrese Halliburton, not ready for the biggest stage when you put up 13 points in a game 5 at the Garden. You're not ready. This team's not ready. And I continue to say this team goes as the guards go. Look at that. You started Miles McBride last night. 40 minutes, 4 dimes, a rebound, 17 points, and 26 screen and roll with Jalen Brunson.
And it worked.
Tom Thibodeau made an adjustment, and it absolutely flipped this series on its ear.
Yeah.
And again, Alec Burks, 18 points from Alec Burks, 5 of 8 from 3 last night.
Yeah.
You had guys go down. Who's going to step up? I would not have picked Alec Burks for the Knicks. And yet here he is. And I think it's spectacular. You can hate Tibbs as much as you want. The guy made an adjustment, and it's worked. He called on Alec Burks, and it's worked. I'm as stunned as the next guy that Tom Thibodeau has actually made quality adjustments.
100%.
And I'm telling you, if you're a Celtics fan, they're going to grind your tits off, dude. Like, if you're a Celtics fan, you should be worried about the Knicks. You want the Pacers.
Yeah, I mean, I as fans, we deserve Knicks Celtics 100%. Like, that's a short travel series. Like, players are going to be rested. That has 7-gamer, grind it out. Boston's going to lose games they shouldn't, series written all over it.
If I am a Boston fan and you're up 3-1 at home against Cleveland tonight, I don't want to hear a goddamn thing if you lose that game. Go home, get drunk, and don't get out of bed tomorrow if you lose that game. Because if the Celtics can't close this out tonight, you're
embarrassing.
And if you want to talk about a game, let's find out who Luka and Kyrie are in OKC tonight. Because that is...
What's that series at?
2-2.
Yeah.
Whoever wins this game, I think, probably wins the series. I know that's not groundbreaking.
I think that it's really interesting that Luka and Dallas are just so inconsistent, and Kyrie's been the one sort of mainstay constant. And I think that's what's tough. And there was a lot of reports that came out, I think it was late last week, about how, there's an audible like relaxation factor that happens when Luka goes off the floor and his teammates can play free-flowing basketball again. And I think that's what's challenging about the Luka thing, is like his teammates don't necessarily love playing with him.
All of these teams that are losing, Minnesota. What if I'm always right. Let's just face it.
Yeah.
And better looking.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There is no question.
Rudy Gobert last night. What did Jokic tell you? You want me to back him down? I will. Nikola Jokic put his shoulder to shoulder and repeatedly beat Rudy Gobert last night in the paint.
Yeah.
Repeatedly. What did all of that defensive player of the year hardware do for you? Congratulations. Enjoy your summer, Rudy. Because unless Minnesota makes a significant change to their energy, how did Anthony Edwards play that bad last night? Have that little production last night?
It's rough, dude.
Yet Jokic, 40 points, 0 turnovers.
And why is that? Because he's been here before.
It's shocking to me.
It's the only thing that I can think of that maybe, Minnesota's kind of lost the belief they can win the series, and Mentally, it's over.
Gobert fades in big games, and the Joker knows it. I would agree with that.
Yeah, the Joker was eating, bro.
Mapes, good morning, Boston Mapes. The Knicks are very beat up. I just don't know if they'll have enough to get much further. But they just now Boston is a much better team than Indiana.
Yeah. And hey, maybe they lose to Boston, but I still think it's a hell of a series.
They probably lose to Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the concept of New York versus Boston always does well in sports, dude. And Brunson, trying to bully ball Jaylen Brown is what I need in my life.
But if you're the Knicks now, you're not even considering bringing OG Anunoby back in Indiana. Why would you?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Bring him back for a game 7 at the Garden. He's been a great player when he's played, right? But I would slow play all of this if I were New York. Because Mapes, I think you're right. I mean, being that beat up, Boston should win that series in 5-6 games. You wouldn't expect a sweep. Boston should win that series. We'll see if that happens. Mad Cat, hello. Good to see you. Mike Smith, basketball talk makes me groggy, but others like it, so it's all good. Okay. Good morning, Cam Harrison. Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Shout out to Mo Bamba.
There you go. San Diego State Glenn. Mike Smith, that's how I feel about Prize Picks talk. LOL. Okay. Eric in Durham. The moment is too big for the Timberwolves. Could be right. Could be right. Maybe the moment is too big. Maybe the moment is too big.
And if it is, we've seen this story before, and maybe they'll grow from this,
All right. I want to switch gears real quick and get to whining, bitching Tom Brady.
Dude, this is not a great look.
You guys remember the roast last week. Tom Brady. Say again what I said last week. Why did you do this? This was one of the dumbest things, the worst decisions. I don't understand it. Tom Brady goes on national television and gets roasted by some of the best cutthroat comedians in the business.
And it was funny.
It was funny. Tom Brady says he would not do it again if he could go back, and that he will never do it again because of the toll it took on his kids and the people in his life that he truly loves. Did you think they weren't going to make jokes about your divorce? Did you think they weren't going to make jokes about you mouth kissing your children on Facebook Live? Did you think they weren't going to hello?
Yeah.
That's all they were going to make jokes about, mainly your divorce. And I understand it. Tom Brady loves his wife, who's now his ex-wife, and who is all tied up in a jiu-jitsu ring. I get it. But that's what the jokes were going to be about.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, it hurt my kids. Did you not think about this before?
I just don't understand the motive for Tom. And it goes to kind of what you're saying. Like, why did you do this? I don't understand what made him do it. I don't understand why he thought this would be a good idea. What made you think that you were like, yeah, man, I'm going to get up on a stage and sit in a chair and have people absolutely torch my life away with jokes? And while it looked like he was having a pretty good time with it, it doesn't seem like there was any consideration for, his kids, Giselle, certainly. Not that he has to have consideration for her, but, even in a divorce situation where you're not together anymore, common decency still exists, right? We still have the responsibility on some level to be a good person. So I just never understood what was the upside of doing the roast, right?
No idea.
Because it almost feels like a marketing play where he wanted to make sure he kept his name in the media and people saw his face, and it was like, oh, he's doing this cool thing. And then after this cool thing's over, this season, he's going to be broadcasting games as a color analyst for, what is it, Fox, I think it was?
Yes.
So, that's kind of what this felt like to me. And I don't think Tom was really expecting. Tommy, I don't think he was expecting to have people get so personal with it.
Do you think there's any chance he didn't realize that his family would be the butt of these jokes? His divorce would be the focus of these jokes, his personal life.
I think that he was probably aware that his personal life was going to come into it.
The Bobby Kraft rub and tug.
Yeah. I think that football or Tom's personal life, we're going to come into it. And
Tommy.
And I think Tommy, if he didn't understand that, he's an idiot.
Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah. Right. Like
Rob Gronkowski.
All of that's fair game. That's all Patriot memories, happenings, part of your career.
You're talking about Nikki Glaser, one of the greatest attack dog comedians we've ever seen.
Right.
She's done the roast circuit for years. She is ruthless. She is funny, and she cuts deep.
So
did
when
you
she's
think she was going to take it
mouth-kissing,
easier on you?
Come on, bro. Come on.
I don't know. I
mean, I just don't understand. Like when the whole hey, Tom mouth kisses his kid video came out or whatever, the picture or whatever.
It was a video, their reality series on Facebook.
Yeah, like
when this was pre Giselle
jiu-jitsu black belt,
vice grinding his balls.
Yeah, getting into a triangle
before they lost gazillions of dollars to FTX.
Yeah,
it's surprising. I like Tom Brady a lot. I think I have a lot of respect for what he's done. I always am a guy, like I look at LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, the performances that Rory McIlroy, the heat he's taking for his divorce.
Yes.
But the performances that we're seeing out of guys like Rory McIlroy in big moments on big stages, Scotty Scheffler, like people being pissed that Scotty Scheffler put the seed in the garden to line up with a major tournament. Why are you pissed about that? I like Tom Brady. This stuff pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, Tom Brady's very calculated. I think he knew this was going to happen. And I think he loves to stand up there and be like, oh, my kids.
Oh,
I love my kids so much. And I prove that by mouth kissing them on Facebook live streams. And
don't you dare mock them for my decisions.
I just can't believe that you would mock my children and my family and hurt those so close to me that I love so much. That's what Tom Brady does. That's what I have an issue with.
Yeah.
And it makes me crazy. Did you think people weren't going to make Bobby Kraft rub and tug jokes?
It's really interesting. Brady, the football player, is so locked in, but Brady, the dude, seems a little different.
He seems naive.
Yeah.
Are you not worldly at this point?
Apparently not.
So let me get this right. You didn't anticipate that your wife rolling around on a mat with a hot dude wasn't going to turn sexual? Tom, that wasn't sweat. That's not what that was, right? She was.
I get that. I get it.
No, please go get physically involved.
That's what they do
on a mat with wearing a gi.
I'll be in Tampa learning the playbook. Okay.
You go ahead and armbar him and leg lock him, and it'll be fine. I'm Tommy. No, it turns out that's not fine.
Yeah.
There's sexual tension when a man and a woman are performing like jujitsu. I'd like to play jujitsu too. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no duh.
You're so naive.
Come on, Tom.
Eric in Raleigh. Fox is going to be unwatchable with Brady as the lead analyst. I think he's going to be spectacular.
Nah, he'll be really good on football.
I think he will be very good.
Yeah, he'll be really good.
Boyd Lake, the SEO king of America. Tommy is stupid if he thinks the best comics in the world wouldn't dig the comedy gold that is his ex-wife. Seriously. Right? Eric in Durham. Brady folded for the money from Netflix. Maybe he did. Mountain Mama, Captain Butchin got paid in Butchton, her Butchin, got paid in publicly prior to announcing gig. He will be okay. Yeah, sure.
It's not a question of if he's going to be okay. It's a question of the stupidity of the decision.
The guy's a sex machine. He's going to be fine. Right? Like, yeah, anyway. Tommy seems to be, when you have that much money, are you motivated by money anymore? When you've had a woman as hot as Giselle, are you motivated by a hot rack anymore?
You're not. I don't know that you're motivated, but I do think when it comes to when you've had Giselle and some of the other girls she's been with, like there is motivation to move on and try to find something new, I'm sure.
Okay. Keith Carl. Tommy must have thought the roast meant a potluck church supper.
Seriously, right?
Hey, Mom, what's for supper?
Well, Monty.
Man, I love the term supper.
Yeah.
Well, where are you guys going? We're going to the supper club.
Yeah, we're going to Cracker Barrel for supper. We're going to Chuck-a-Rama.
Brandon Bootlair, I would let Nikki attack my dog, if you know what I mean.
All gas, no break.
All the way, dude. All the way.
Roasties are told prior to the show that things will be brutal and told not to take them personally.
Which is why it's so surprising. Tom gets up there and is like, hey, man, we're not talking about craft that way. Don't do that again.
Keith Carl, quote, you only roast the ones you love. That's true. That's true. Anyway, Boyd Lake, I think Tommy knew it would happen and that it was calculated and designed to happen. It inoculated his reputation further. And now he wants it both ways. I've heard that about Tom. He wants it both ways.
Yeah. I'm not playing your games. Not playing your games, dude.
The eye patch, I didn't see the Tommy roast. I guess it was good. It was brutal.
Oh, it was. I mean, the jokes were edgy, to say the least. I mean, they
made jokes about his wife. They made jokes about his
Hernandez
divorce.
one was pretty over the top, dude.
Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, like
was funny. Like it was funny as hell. But if you're Tom Brady, dude, I don't even know. Eric and Raleigh, Brady has CTE. I have no idea.
No idea.
Mike Smith, notice he didn't not tell people not to make fun of his wife, family, or Hernandez. He only got mad about the Bob Kraft joke.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir Bob Lob, I thought jiu-jitsu lived in Israel. That could be. I don't know. Tom Brady should have just agreed to have Tracy Morgan roast him all night. Nothing funny or harmful would have resulted. See, because he's saying
this is the home of King Kong. This is where he died.
He's not funny. Like,
I love you like the fat kid love cake.
That's funny.
Don't talk crap about my team.
That's funny. Kevin Hart was funny.
Yeah.
You know, like
but making, mouth kissing your kid jokes.
Brandon Butler, go scissor lock your instructor. Nothing bad could happen from that,
yeah,
right?
Right? Like, hey, I'll get her to, to tap, if you know what I mean. Come on.
It's unbelievable. Big Blue Horses. I think he thought it was going to be Dean Martin style. Newsflash, not happening in today's world because Dean Martin's fucking dead. He's dead. Nikki Glazer's alive and well. No one today can do what Rickles and LaWanda Page did on stage. Don Rickles was awesome. Dakota Tubbs, Tommy wouldn't do well in this comment section.
Nope.
No, he would not.
Nope.
No, he would not do well.
Nope.
Not at all. One other NFL thing. Today is the NFL schedule release. ESPN.
The Death Star.
They're doing a 2-hour special on the release of the NFL schedule. Have you carved that time out of your schedule? Have you carved that time?
No.
To make are you waxing and getting prepared?
I'm getting prepared to hit golf balls at night. Thanks.
I'm not look, we already know the Bears are going, 1-0.
Hey, dude, nail polish boy looks pretty good. He looks pretty damn good, dude. You guys see Caleb Williams?
Nail polish.
First team all beats by pro, right?
Yeah. Did anybody see Free Harbaugh couldn't hit a coach standing still in minicamp?
Because it's garbage.
Yeah. But he's going to be the savior.
Free Harbaugh is the franchise quarterback we deserve. You're exactly right. He couldn't hit, the coach was standing still.
It's terrible, bro.
Oh, that's right. They didn't ask him to carry the. Would you go to Germany to see an NFL game?
Nah. Nope. Don't think so.
Sir Bob Love, Dean Martin's dead. You take that back. Exactly. I think this is so overhyped. I understand that it's NFL 24/7, 365.
Gotta have it, Monty.
The Dallas Cowboys. Now what? I understand that's what ESPN is. We get it. 2-hour schedule release.
It seems heavy. It seems excessive, but
on a night with 2 big NBA games.
Again, well, how could the Super League ever happen? How does the tournament ever get expanded? Oh, I don't know. How does ESPN roll out a 2-hour special on the NFL schedule release? Oh, that's right, because see, they're making money and they want to do 2 hours. See how that works?
Mama, they're trying to turn the release schedule into the popularity of the NFL draft. Not going to happen. You're already the majority of teams your team will play. You already know. Yeah. I already agree. How will they know?
Who's gonna know?
Right. Sir Bob says Brady is just doing prearranged PR to make him look more sympathetic. I don't disagree with that. Do you respect Tom Brady?
Yeah, I mean, I respect Tom. I think that he's a GOAT. There's no question about it. I think that he's someone that changed the game. It's someone that won at such a high level and for so long that you don't really have a choice but to respect Tom Brady, the football player. But I have to say, Tom Brady, the dude, does some questionable ass stuff, man. Like everything from mouth kissing his kid to the roast situation. Even going to Tampa Bay was a really interesting move at the time. Like before he had won the Super Bowl again, and put that to bed while we have another blink in the studio again. Once he put that to bed that he could win without Bill, I think for Tom, that's kind of when it started to go downhill for him in terms of retirement. And for that, I respect him. The guy has won every which way you can win. And the NFL is one of the hardest sports to win a championship in. So for me, I do respect Tom Brady, but the Tom Brady is the guy, the dude, the human being, just does, things a little bit differently. Like even the way he retired was different. Like, on the beach and doing the video and then unretiring and then
why do you have a problem with that?
Well, because I think that there's a lot of class to be had in retiring once. Just, hey, this is it. I'm done. I'm moving on. Much the way Kobe did it, right? Where Kobe had the exit tour, and when he was done, he was done. The tour. And this is what I say about LeBron, right? Like when you're gonna go to retire, LeBron, I want it to be clean cut. You've had a phenomenal career, probably the best modern day career we've ever seen.
Dude, what is going on with the lights?
I don't know. Was there any answers on that? Or?
No, like it just keeps flashing.
Yeah, it flashed while you were, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what. I have no idea. Will Tom Brady be a good game analyst?
Yeah, I think he'll be really good. I think that.
At least we agree on that.
Yeah, I think that he has potential, in my opinion, to be better than Romo was when Romo first came into the game. But I think the difference is going to be that Tom Tom's
just got more personality.
Yeah, and I think that Tom is going to be a little bit more mature in the way he presents as an analyst. Like Tony oftentimes comes off as kind of like a little kid personality-wise. Like
he gets excited.
Yeah, and so I think Tom is going to be much more of that, that real nice, smooth color analyst that I think really could do some nice things for Fox.
Yeah, I don't think that he's going to orgasm all over the microphone like Tony does at times. But we'll see. I don't know. Mike Smith, Ghost of Gumby is in the lighting system of the Monty Show.
Seriously.
Right? Fat Jesus. Hello. Tom Brady revealed himself when he wore Uggs. See? Any guy that wears Uggs or Lululemon, you just know what that is already.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
You know what that is.
What is that?
You have Lulu shorts on today, I believe, don't you?
I do.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Boyd Lake Tommy had a different look at the roast. I'm a fan, but he needs to lay off the Botox.
Dude.
Okay. I don't hate it. San Diego State Glenn, NFL schedule release day. All that means is we confirm the Raiders will make more consecutive Western to Eastern time zone trips than any other team. The Park Avenue Punks will strike again.
Yeah.
Anybody notice that the NFL yesterday got a big win over John Gruden? A court determined that John Gruden has to go through arbitration with the NFL and cannot sue them. I'm just saying.
Undefeated.
I think they destroyed John Gruden. That's my opinion. Big Blue Horses, Randy golf question. Nothing wrong with that. Is Live in PGA's inability to hammer things out the beginning of the end of the current model? The current model is dead. Nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, it has to change.
They have to change. Everybody agrees. Sponsors, players. You look at the press conferences yesterday at Valhalla. for the PGA Championship this weekend, starting tomorrow at 6 a.m. Eastern, I believe. Or 6 a.m. Mountain, 8 a.m. Eastern. Everybody agrees this current model is not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
The PGA is not winning. Live Golf is certainly not winning. They are hemorrhaging money. You got to figure it out. You've got to figure it out. I see the Bears are playing on Turkey Day again. The Bears should play every Thanksgiving.
Yes, they should.
It's not even a discussion.
Yeah.
They should play every single year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you have Green Bay and Philadelphia playing on the Cock in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
The Cock.
The Jets and Vikings in London. The Jags and Bears, at Tottenham Hotspur, October 13th.
Yeah.
The Patriots and Jags, October 20th at Wembley. And then Munich, Germany, Giants and Panthers on November 10th. Okay. Big deal.
Cool.
I'm not excited. I'm telling this NFL schedule release thing just does not do it for
Overrated.
me. It does not do it for me. Bears in Detroit every year on Thanksgiving Day. Should be. I hope it is. I'll be in Florida for that. I'm going golfing Thanksgiving. My wife set up a Thanksgiving week in Florida.
Golf.
Yeah.
So
that'll be fun. All right. Couple other things I want to get to. Best concession stand experience you've ever had. Where's the best food you've had at a sports event? I don't even think this is close for me. And I've been to, I think, just about every baseball stadium in the country, with the exception of the Northeast. I think I've been to most NFL stadiums. Pretty much every NBA stadium except the Northeast. I don't think it's close. AT&T Park, Oracle Field at your mom's ballpark.
Yeah.
We're going to call it AT&T Park because that's what it should be called. Has the best food I've ever had for concessions. From pan-fried brats with onions and unbelievable sourdough
Brats
rolls.
Are so good.
To chowder bowls. The best grilled shrimp in the world is at AT&T Park out on the Seawalk.
Well, the cool thing too about AT&T is right outside the building, they have this fried chicken place that is just to die for.
Yep. The Chicago Cubs, when I was a child, used to have a place called Yum Yum Donuts. Phenomenal. The McDonald's across the street, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The neighborhood, and this is the difference, though. Where is AT&T Park located? San Francisco, the city of San Francisco. Where is Wrigley Field located? The city of Chicago. So I can get Nuts on Clark. I can get White Castle, McDonald's, Yum Yum Donuts in the parking lot. I have access to Murphy's Bleachers. I can get dude cooking wings on a flat top on the corner. I can get a hot dog cart. I can get pizza. I don't even have to go inside. And then you go inside and you get great Italian beefs and combos. Right? Like that's, for my money, I think the tailgate experience up at Utah, phenomenal. The food experience, AT&T Park. Some of the pageantry of Notre Dame football, I've only once, and I'm 52, and I think I was 17 or 18.
Right.
I spent a night, I slept in a car. And spent a night, Friday night into a Saturday night at Notre Dame. And the barbecues, the students, all that stuff. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But the food was just okay. I need to go back to a Notre Dame game. It's been far too long since I've been to the. Let's see. Mike Smith says the Glizzy's at Leavenworth concession stand. You're going to go to Leavenworth for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
James, Oak State James.
Oh, okay. Well, this should be good.
I've been to every Big 12 stadium except West Virginia and Cincinnati.
I'm for real.
Texas has excellent barbecue. Oak State has better variety due to allowing outside restaurants to sell food. Okay. I like it. Eric and Raleigh, Giardelli hot chocolate and ice cream sundaes in a baseball helmet.
Yes.
Yes. When you pay $22 for a beer, I have yet to have a good concession stand experience. Exactly. Well, see, Eric and Durham, this is where you and I part company. The garlic fries at AT&T Park suck ass. I think they're terrible.
Suck ass.
I think they're overrated.
Dude.
I do not like them.
So that's how it's going to be.
I don't. But there used to be, and I don't know, it's been several years since I've been to AT&T Park, Oracle Yard at your mom's house.
Right.
They used to have a French fry stand that would do beer battered wedges, potato wedges.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best
Phenomenal.
ballpark food. Like we went, you remember that it was like several years ago. We went to a Dodger game.
Mhm.
Their concessions weren't too bad. They were just expensive because it's LA. But I remember vaguely back in the day, we went to a Blackhawks game at the United Center, and I remember those concessions being pretty damn good. But that's pretty vague memory. It's a little cloudy. So I don't know. I think the other thing too that I kind of roll into concessions is just the ambiance of the park, because I
Yes,
think when you're
of course.
eating the food, like the feel of the park is really important.
When we went to Giants Cubs 2016, the Major League Baseball playoffs.
Yeah.
We sat outside of Wrigley Field. We were sitting on a rooftop that night, and a guy came by with a bicycle hot dog cart. And I had two of the best dogs I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting
it's
on
different there, dude. Like the hot dogs there are different.
Sitting on benches outside of Wrigley Field over the left field fence, right by the firehouse. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. The beer's cold, and I'm not a big beer drinker, but you give me cold beer on a chilly October night in Chicago all day long.
Yep.
All day long.
With the hot dog, of course.
With a dog.
Yeah.
Of course.
The dog.
You have to. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
AT&T Park, San Francisco, best concessions. And if you haven't been, trust me, don't judge. It's amazing. It is amazing. Delaric, best I have not been to in many is the new Ranger Stadium. They have a thing called a dilly dog, a pickle with a hot dog in it, and they deep fry it like a corn dog.
Okay.
Jesus.
That sounds like it's not good for you, but probably tastes bomb.
Are we fans of corn dogs?
Once in a very, very long while, like every couple of years.
The best corn dog that I can remember was at Miller Park in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Cubs and Brewers. They used to have a corn dog that had a brat inside of it, injected with cheddar cheese. And it was... Dude, it was hot and creamy in your mouth.
Phenomenal.
It was hot. I said it was hot and creamy in your mouth.
You a big fan of that, huh?
I am. You know what? There's nothing better than, because my wife is pretty good at planning trips.
Yeah.
So there's nothing better than, I'm really excited. We're going to see the Foo Fighters in Boston in July. Still haven't bought my airfare for that. Have to do that. But we're going, I'm excited. I guarantee you my wife will find great food in Boston. She's just really good at it. And I'm super stoked about, if it kills me, I'm going to get to several big college football games this year. I'm really excited about it. I want to, next time we're in LA, I absolutely want to go to a Dodger game.
Mm-hmm.
The Angels don't play baseball anymore, so screw them. But I miss going to baseball games. I would love to fly to San Francisco and do Cubs and Giants for a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. Walk around the city,
get sketched out on Bart,
step over the homeless guys. You just do what you do in San Francisco.
Yeah. You do what you do, and it is what it is.
Anyway, go and get some Sears for breakfast. Some dim sum for lunch.
Yeah, AT&T is probably the one. Yeah. It's just really tough to beat, dude.
Matt Ritson, how about a Philly cheesesteak sandwich at Philadelphia? I
want to go to Philly too.
I've been to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Opening day 2006 for the Cardinals. It was okay.
Monty.
You know what it was?
What?
it with the bread was so soggy that, and what I like about getting an authentic cheesesteak in Philadelphia, what I really enjoyed was that you get like a ton of you get a lot of meat in your mouth when you get a Philly cheesesteak in Philly.
You gotta get stroked.
That doesn't work there.
What am I supposed
be better.
to do? What am I supposed to do with I got a lot of meat in my mouth?
Dude, you get a ton of meat, you get a ton of mushrooms, and you get a ton of onions. And then they melt the cheese right it's
so good.
But the meat was so soggy. Or the bread was so soggy. It was not great. But yeah. Ryan Smith's receding hairline. I can eat a whole corn dog without chewing.
We show up.
Speaking of Ryan Smith, stop drinking raw milk. Will you please stop drinking raw milk?
So you guys have seen the bird flu going around, and
this is so stupid.
There are people allegedly who think it's a good idea to, like in this case, drink raw milk, not pasteurized, raw milk,
straight from the teat,
so that they can get infected with the bird flu. That way they'll be immunized from it. They will be fully immune to the effects of bird flu. Let's pull out the more you F around, the more you find out chart, because that's what this is. This is you being an idiot.
You better have the ability to inject that light up your orifice, because I don't want the bird flu. I don't drink milk. I think you guys know this. I limit my animal products as much as I can. Although lately I've had a lot more red meat than I would care to admit. Can we stop drinking milk? Can you please? If you almond milk, there are better milks, man. Drink oat milk.
This is right up the alley of, like, you know, the same people doing this nonsense are the same people who are flat earthing and, you know, saying that 9/11 and the moon was fake. And like what the hell are we doing, bro? Like, can you not just see this is terrible for you? Absolutely goes against every single thing that we as a species know about how to protect ourselves.
All I'm saying is milk in general is not good for you. And then when you drink it straight from the cow, you're getting all the hormones, you're getting all the fat, you're getting everything. And then you're like, why do I have high cholesterol? Why am I dealing with hypertension? And why do I have the bird flu? Because you drank cow milk. Like you're being dumb.
Literally being stupid.
You're being dumb.
So please don't do this.
It's amazing.
Please don't do this.
What I'm telling you is that, and you, hey man, say whatever you want about drinking milk or not. It's not coincidental that you look at people like, I don't know, myself. I don't eat much dairy. I don't drink milk. I don't eat much sugar. And I have optimal cholesterol. I have optimal blood pressure. I have optimal blood sugar. Like I don't battle diabetes. I don't battle heart disease. I'm not going to have a stroke. Like, and then you look at the way that people used to eat red meat, but like fried foods, beer, milk, cheese on everything. This just strikes me as, do you have any idea when you say you want raw milk?
It's terrible.
Do you know how bad raw milk is for you? And do you know how bad, do you understand why people drink? And do you understand why cows produce milk? Ask your, why do cows produce milk? Well, for their calves, for their baby cows. To do what? Put on weight. To become huge animals.
Yeah.
And what do you think happens to humans who drink milk? When I was at my heaviest, 100 whatever pounds ago, I drank milk. I ate red meat all the time.
Yeah.
Like, You can't do that stuff. So drinking raw milk is not good for you.
And it's especially not good for you when you're trying to drink it to get the bird flu so you can be immune to the bird flu.
It's wild.
Idiots.
It's wild. Shooter, Texas. Seriously, guys, take a look in the mirror before you try to give advice on a healthy diet. Stick to sports. It's your lane.
Oh.
So wait. So you, and I'm here for it, Shooter, Texas. So now we're going to do, well, so A, you just called me fat, which, cool. Let me ask you, like, what is it that I've said here that's wrong?
Yeah.
So you think that you should be drinking raw milk? Like raw milk is good for you, right? That's what you're saying. And I'm just guessing. Because when you look at raw milk, according to the CDC, raw milk is one of the riskiest foods and can lead to serious illness. It contains bacteria like E. coli, salmonella, listeria. Like raw milk. These bacteria can be especially dangerous to people with weakened immune systems, children, older adults, and pregnant women. And you want to drink raw milk so that you can get the bird flu. Don't worry about the bird flu.
So what is he saying here? Because I'm fascinated by these responses.
He's not saying anything.
Oh, he hasn't said anything yet.
No. Fat Jesus, utterly stupid. See what I did there? Like udders, cow udders.
Oh, see, it's udders and udders. It all kind of works together. Good job, dude.
Damian Fowler, the people who do that must be the tinfoil hatters. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Raw milk is one of those weird ayahuasca type things where people are sure that raw milk is, well, look at cows. And do you really think that drinking what cows drink is going to get you the result you're looking for?
Yeah, it makes sense.
When your stated purpose is, I'm going to drink raw milk for the purpose of getting the bird flu.
Like what?
The listeria is what you should be worried about, not the bird flu.
But we're just a sports show. We're just a sports show. So
sports is in your lane, bro.
I mean, we're way out of our lane here.
Fat Jesus, raw is always better. I thought the grass and the hay got them fat.
Oh, dude.
The grass and the hay are, if you look at cows, it's on the interwebs. It's on the interwebs. Dakota.
And notice he hasn't commented again, though.
But like, hey, I don't even care. Listen, you want to call me fat and whatever, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. I will put my health up against your health every single day. Every single day. And and this conversation seems to come up on this show very often. I don't care if you like Shooter Texas calling me fat. I don't care. I do not care. Telling me to stick to sports. I do not care. I'll stick to what I want.
Yeah.
The bottom line is you can't make the argument that raw milk is good for you. And this is what I said about Loner Phone yesterday. Getting all pissy in the comments, threatening to sue us yesterday. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out, man. You do you. I'm not upset about it. James, Monty's exactly right. I don't drink cow's milk at all. My doctor has me drinking almond milk. My cholesterol is good. My BP is good. My A1C has gone down. The reason that animal products are not good for you can be summed up in one stat. Do you understand where you get cholesterol from?
Animal products.
What's the only source of cholesterol?
Animal products.
It's exactly right. Do I eat animal products? I do. Do I eat turkey? I do. Chicken? Yes, I do. I try to really limit my red meat intake because it's not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat dairy products on the regular because they're not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Shooter Texas, oh my God, you are now quoting the CDC. Yeah, the Centers for Disease Control. I know, not credible at all. I guess you will wear a mask and have about a dozen doses of the vax too. I'll just say again.
So okay, yeah.
This is where we always wind up because you don't want to talk about raw milk.
You don't know what you don't want to talk about is science and facts. That's what you don't want to talk about.
Which I never understood why so many people want to argue over whether or not science is credible.
It's undisputed, bro. Literally, it's undisputed.
Which is amazing to me.
My God.
It's amazing to me. And I want, like, I can, the FDA, the CDC, like, it's all in the Mayo Clinic.
I got news for you, dude. I got news for you. Your opinions are not facts. This information, the data, like the research and the numbers are the facts of the case. It's not in question that drinking raw cow's milk is terrible for you. Like, that's not an opinion. It's an undisputed fact, bro. So you looking like a complete buffoon, a complete jackass right now coming in here and making it personal. Like, this tells me you don't know what you're talking about.
The Mayo Clinic. Further, they claim that drinking raw milk leads to direct ingestion of more nutrients. And this isn't, I never even thought about lactose intolerance. That those that are lactose intolerant should drink raw milk as an alternative. What is the Mayo Clinic, one of the leading health organizations on the planet? Furthermore, the claim that the heating process during pasteurization reduces the overall nutrition and health benefits of milk is flatly wrong. These claims are not backed by or followed up through science. Pasteurized milk has fewer nutrients. The minerals are very heat stable. 1 cup of pasteurized milk has 23% of the daily value of calcium, unchanged from raw milk. And I would also go on to point out the Mayo Clinic suggests you limit your ingestion of milk, animal milk, period. So, I know I should stick to sports. I don't know what I'm talking about. Mike Smith, I drank fake milk once and got liabetes. You see what he did there? Giggity. Utterly stupid is a comment only published authors can create. Exactly right. John Dry, don't drink milk. Exactly right. Shooter, Texas. People who want to immunize themselves with raw milk. Yeah, that is totally stupid. I agree with you there. But we don't know what we're talking about, so you should be careful.
I'm glad to see that now you're coming off of your strong takes.
I'm just the fat guy who shouldn't be talking about health.
Yeah, maybe you and all the flat earthers and all the people who have all these non-informational, non-fact-based opinions can all go hang out in a room together. Because I got news for you. You're not going to come in here and be disrespectful and think that you can just say whatever the hell you want. I'm not giving you a free pass. You're not going to do what you just did and then be like, oh, well, I agree with you there, Monty. No, you don't agree with us. Because you're completely backing off now that, once again, just like Salty, Loner Phone, Duck Season, any of the guys that come in here and want to gaslight things, you guys have no way to win the argument. So what do you wind up doing? You wind up backtracking and you wind up saying, oh, I never cursed at you. I never said this. Yeah, you did. You did.
Matt Ritson, I thought milk good for the bones.
It's one of the greatest marketing ploys our world has ever seen. And whoever came up with that,
phenomenal.
I give them a load of credit because they did an amazing job coming up with that.
Yeah, the issue is that your body cannot ingest the calcium at a high enough percentage. I'm telling you, cow's milk is for calves, not for humans. The earth isn't flat, it's trapezoidal. Idiots, exactly right. Why do people get so upset about rational conversations?
Like the mask thing. I love that he brings up masks. I think it's one of the most funny things I've ever heard. Okay, if you don't want to wear a mask, that's your right. You don't have to wear a mask. But what I am telling you is that there is a purpose for it. It's science-based. Hey, if you wear a mask, you're protecting yourself and others.
Like the right kind of mask. I'm not talking about
a bandana that you found in your dirty ass laundry basket from 2 weeks ago.
I just don't think we need to argue over everything. Not everything has to lead to like with all due respect, Shooter Texas, like being like, oh, you're fat, I'm not taking advice from you. Okay, don't take advice from me. No, I quite literally do not care.
The idea that you've been listening to this show every day for what must be several years now, and you just turned into stick to sports guy, tells me that you're having a bad day and you came here to let that stuff out, which is fine.
Sir Bob Love says, yeah, always wear a Zorro mask. That's what I'm saying. Only cover the eyes. I mean,
duh.
And I would also remind you, I don't care if you want to immunize yourself any way you want. Do it. And if you knew what immunize means, you wouldn't use that word, which makes me think you don't know what immunized means. That's what I think you don't know what it means. So it doesn't always have to be about shots and masks, and it doesn't have to be about
the whole point of this story. The reason we originally brought this up is not as to whether raw milk is good for you or not good for you. People, this story, that the reason we're talking about this is because people are drinking raw milk right now because they want to get infected with the bird flu.
They believe that if they drink the raw milk, they will get infected with the bird flu. And they believe if they get infected with the bird flu, they will have a certain level of immunity to it, which is all well and good. But what about that E. coli? The chemicals that we use on farms, that when you like everything that a cow eats is essentially off the ground, and the grain and the feed that they're given. So whatever's in the dirt, whatever's in the land,
you're getting all of it, bro.
You're getting all of that.
All of it.
Pesticides, if they use them, like nobody thinks that drinking raw milk is nobody that uses science thinks that that's good for you.
Yeah.
Nobody. So, and I haven't had a glass of milk and I don't even know how long.
Oh, I haven't had a glass of milk since I was probably 10 years old. Legitimately. I have not.
And I'm just saying, like, well, your bones are going to break. Okay. Well, I wrecked myself snowboarding last year and didn't break a bone. Like, you're not anyway, as you were. We can't even talk about wackadoos trying to get the bird flu through raw milk.
And then we get Shooter Texas. Like, what's so incredible to me is not even what he said. It's the fact that it's him saying it. Like, Shooter Texas is typically a pretty good commenter.
Come on, man.
And here we go.
Fat Jesus, did you hear about the Fear Factor episode they couldn't air? They had to milk goats without using their hands. Stop. That didn't happen.
Look, Joe Rogan, take it easy.
That didn't happen. Mike Smith, the same dolts that try to drink raw milk to build bird flu immunities are the same dolts that refuse to get vaccines.
Yep.
I don't even want to argue over vaccines. If you don't want vaccines, okay, cool. I'm not judging you for that. When you're in the comments section being pissed off saying that I get dozens of vaccines, why do you care? Much to your point, why do you care that I wear a mask? Why do you care that I get vaccinations?
Yeah.
Why do you care that I stayed home during the pandemic? Like when we were at the gym and we wore masks at the gym, this old guy came up and got all pissed off that we were wearing masks. And it's like, why do you care? I just think it's wild to me that you want bird flu that could kill you.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Don't get it.
I don't. Steve Stepanek, I don't drink milk. Kim Coulter, I don't even know what to say to the raw milk moron. It's too early for me still.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
John Dry, I am COVID vaccine free. Cool.
And there's nothing wrong with that,
and I'm not
bro.
judging you for that.
Like, I've never been one where I'm like, oh, hey, you didn't take the vaccine, you're an idiot. I'm not saying that at all. Now, I take the vaccines. I do believe in the science behind them. But that's my personal opinion. Just the same way your personal opinion is, hey, maybe you don't need it. And that's fine. What I'm saying is that raw milk, it's not in question. There is no conversation, dude.
And Shooter Texas, you using the word immunize, it's why Aaron Rodgers has gotten a ration of shit over the word immunize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
Do you know what that means? Let me read you the textbook. And I pulled it up just so that we could all understand this. Immunize. make a person or animal resistant to a particular infectious disease or pathogen by vaccination. By vaccination. So wait, I'm the idiot that got dozens of vaccinations, and then you drop the word immunized. Like, do you understand what that, like, I wish people, it quite literally means to be made immune by vaccination.
Come on, dude. Be better.
You know.
Be better.
Anyway.
Be absolutely better than you were today.
Real quick, with the last 4 minutes of the show. Do you use apps to order fast food? So Starbucks had their profit call where they were talking about why they were struggling profit-wise, off 3 to 6% of projection. It turns out that it has nothing to do with people going to Starbucks. Their profits are down. This according to their numbers, which say the chain's U.S. same-store sales declined 3%. Sales outside of North America decreased 6%. Starbucks CEO Laxman Narasimhan, I'm guessing I got Narasimhan, says, let's be clear, our performance this quarter was disappointing and did not meet expectations. However, the results do not reflect our strength or capabilities or the opportunity ahead. That's interesting. He justified that statement by explaining that their 6% global decline and 3% domestic was because of consumers using the Starbucks app, and they would order their drink, put it in their shopping cart, and not execute the transaction because the wait time was too long. They did not want to wait, so they put the drink in their cart. And he is saying that the mobile customers are the ones that are hurting them, and that people are using their app at such a prolific level that they're busier, yet the app is sagging because people will not execute the transaction once they see how long it takes to get their drink.
Mm-hmm.
Does that surprise you?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. We're a society based in convenience, and so Starbucks simply needs to pick up the pace. Like you have, and I've said this for a long time about Starbucks. The way they build their lines, like their production lines, when you go into a Starbucks location, you'll notice that where the way they make the coffee and everything, the process is the cashier writes up the cup, like puts all the symbols and everything so they know what type of coffee and what type of milk and, everything that you need to make the proper coffee.
Raw milk.
Right. And so they fill out the cup, then the barista starts making drinks. The problem is that when you have one barista, or maybe if you're lucky enough to have two, that's enough to handle the demand of the in-location business. But when you roll in the app business, aka the drive-through business,
yes,
that's not enough. They don't have enough. They don't have enough output. They don't have enough bandwidth to handle the business they're being asked to handle, which is why I've said for years about Starbucks. Bro, Five Guys ain't out here with a 1x1 square of a flat top. They're out here with a 10x10, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have like 5 baristas at each location pumping out drinks.
And here's the issue. Not only do they not execute or complete and pay for the drink and go pick it up because of the wait time, but they're also struggling to keep their stores stocked because they're so busy.
Yes.
And a lot of the drinks in the app are unavailable. And why do you think the app is so prolific? Because 60% of the morning business at Starbucks across the world comes in through their app. 60% of their morning coffee orders come in through the app.
So again, why is it that Starbucks is still allowing you to walk into their location? Why is it that you would continue to do that? Why would you not make it a thing where it has more of the business flow of like a
Dutch Bros, where you walk up to a window,
or like a food truck style situation. Not that Starbucks would be a food truck per se, but just the idea of, hey, we're a drive-through business only. You can't walk into our store. Use your existing square footage at your locations to expand the line.
And again, my wife is amazing. She makes her own coffee at home. But I've never understood, like, remember that, and I don't know, is the Starbucks black card still a thing?
No idea.
Remember the black cards and
Starbucks
is a thing. But
it's an incredible business, dude. It has to get more efficient.
I am not a coffee drinker. I think you guys know that. I'm so glad I am not a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
Because all of this nonsense, I'm good. And my wife has it down to a science. She has a Nespresso machine, and she orders pods and recycles the old pods. And I can't do it.
But it amazes me that Starbucks hasn't made this adjustment yet, because they are no different. Like, they may be making coffee drinks, but you're no different than a fast food establishment, a traditional fast food. You have orders coming in.
That's right.
You don't have the bandwidth to fulfill those orders in a quick enough time. And so you're losing money. So your boy's got to hop on the earnings call and tell the shareholders why. So again, I'm telling you, they have to make this adjustment where, hey, we need to get a couple of baristas, like 3 baristas going at a time. We need to stop allowing people to walk in. You're walking up to a window. You're not walking into the store. By the way, I'd love to see, and this is probably why you can still walk into a Starbucks, I'd love to see the analytics on how many of those people you see on their computer at Starbucks, how many drinks they actually order.
Ooh, how about this little story? Let me read you a tweet from Netflix. You can't spell Netflix without the NFL. Netflix will be the home to watch NFL's 2024 Christmas Day games live. I'm telling you, these streaming services are getting into sports.
Netflix.
They are getting into sports. There is
Roku.
There's no doubt about it. There is absolutely no doubt about it. I think Roku with Major League Baseball. Are you watching the NFL on Netflix? Well, apparently you are now.
Apparently you are.
They say they're making this move for the singular reason of boosting their advertising business.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to.
Do you subscribe to Netflix?
Household does. I don't personally.
Okay. So you use my subscription to Netflix?
No, girlfriends.
Okay. All right, there you have it. The Monty Show, as always, presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Always a good, passionate discussion here on the non-sport. How do we every day wind up talking about vaccines?
Yeah, dude.
Come on now. The Monty Show, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Don't forget this Friday, Giving Friday. Are you going to work Friday?
I haven't decided yet. Maybe
Giving
not.
Friday this Friday. We'll always like to give away memberships on the show Fridays. This Friday, the Advocates are taking your bike donations in Murray. If you have an extra bike, if you have extra bike parts, please consider donating to the Advocates on Friday. You can also send them a $5 donation on Venmo. Advocates donations. 5, 10, $1 million, whatever you have laying around in the couch cushions. Putting bikes back in the community for our kids and for people who need them. TheAdvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jay.
Goodbye, Jay.